Hello, my name is Blaine Houston, and this is my TED Talk Less Money, Less Sports Activity. Really wanted to put the main focus on social economics and how poor children and poor parents are not being able to provide their children with sports opportunities for youth sports, such as either travel or just local. When you look at the statistics behind it, families spend around $700 on youth sports every year, which is an absolutely absurd amount. And then public schools are starting to make pay to play fees. When I was in middle school and high school, schools did not do this. We had to have physicals done, which were majority of the time paid for. They were free. They didn't take money away from us as our families. Public schools are meant to have sports funding and bank accounts and stuff for them to make sure that children have all opportunities to play any sports, whether it's football, baseball, tennis, golf, and many other high school sports and extracurriculars. And when you look at the 3 out of 10 families making $25,000 or less are playing sports compared to 7 out of 10 making 100,000 or more, money is a very tough struggle for people to try to let their children play sports. And it's a 40% difference for people making $75,000 or more than the other families. And so when you don't have the money, you can't put it into your children being able to play sports because there's bills that you have to pay, there's rent that you have to pay, there's food that you got to make sure that your children are eating and making sure that they are able to do these things. And then from another source, the cost for travel sports is around $10,000 per year. When you look at it, it's the fees for the tournaments, it's the fees for the uniforms, it's fee for the equipment, it's fees for hotels and gas and food for the children, and not just even the children, it's the parents as well too, because the parents have to take them. These are not bus for the kids and the sports teams, and they have to have rides there. Why children need sports is a big topic I like to talk about. It allows these children to build friendships, as is very difficult to build friendships with people sometimes. It allows them to be around other children, and it can make people grow with each other. It allows them to be with their friends on certain bases just outside of school. They can have other friends outside of school too as well that play on these teams. You can learn many life skills from this. For me, when I played in high school and middle school, I learned a lot about teamwork and discipline and work ethic, and it transfers over into your life in general. It allows you to understand this is what's going to happen in the real world as well too for your job. When you have a family as a parent, you learn so much just from the game, from any game that you'll ever play. And the sports are amazing for your physical health. When you think about it, almost every sport deals with running. So when you're running, you are burning lots of calories. You are burning fat, which in our society today, America has a big obesity problem, and we are struggling with it. And it's, to my understanding, is we're not getting a lot of kids out there and playing sports. We are more allowing them to stay inside and play on iPads or iPods or a PlayStation or an Xbox, watch TV. And kids do need sports for physical health. It allows them to run, it allows them to get exercise, it allows them to grow stronger. It can make them more athletic. So, how do you get poor children to play organized sports? Obviously, money and transportation can be an issue. When a family doesn't have enough money to provide for their child to play organized sports, it can be very difficult, as they, like I've said before, they have to pay for bills, they have to pay for rent, they have to pay for groceries, and it can make it very difficult for them to allow their children to play in organized sports. Transportation is a very difficult one too. As a family who is making less than $25,000, some of them don't even have cars to take them to their sporting events or practices, and they rely on the kid to figure a way out to get them themselves. And this can be very difficult because now the kid is not getting the same exposure and experience with his other teammates, and may not allow him to be able to play in these sporting events if he's not being able to show up to practice. It's a very difficult situation for them, but there are some solutions to it, as I realized is looking at a website from somebody. There's funding and scholarships. There's if you can go to you can look up these funding and scholarships, as they will help poor families who are not making enough money for their children to play organized sports. They will allow them to have money to be able to pay for it, so that nobody has to struggle with being able to not be able to play, or for their kid to not be a part of something that could be very special. This kid could potentially have the chance to be a big player in any sport in someday. Another topic I'd like to talk about is hand-me-down equipment. Obviously, it is not what everybody wants, but when there's not enough money being made, it is a good solution. I remember me playing in youth sports, and every year we would have to turn in shoulder pads for football, and helmets for football, and pants for football, and our pads in our pants, and we didn't have our own stuff, so every year everything was getting reused, and all these kids got to use the items that were provided for them, the equipment that was provided for them, and they were allowed to be able to play a sport. No kid was denied a helmet, no kid was denied shoulder pads. It was all organized for everybody to be able to play. And then another option is free camps. Obviously, this is not an organized sport. This is just a camp. But this can be another great way for kids to get out and exercise. This allows kids to be around other children and allow them to showcase their skills. There's many camps I have been to that obviously I had paid for, but then when you think about it, is not every person has the money to be able to play for it. So you have to make the exception for them. I think free camps gives every child the opportunity to have the same experience at the camp, and allows them to be the best that they can be there. It does not deny anybody from any type of involvement within the camp, and allows them to be able to participate in it. Thank you. And these are my sources.